Hey folks, today we'll see how to implement authentication using React Router. So without any delay, let's get started. But before getting started, let's be very clear what we are trying to accomplish through this video. So this is our goal. We are here to achieve these 3 points. Okay. Because by authentication, what do I mean? No, you have to understand that. So yeah, this is what I mean. So our first goal is when user clicks on any of the private route, he or she should be directed to the login page. Okay. Now first things first, what is private route and what is a public route? Okay, so let's understand the difference between them. So yeah, let me show you something. No. So here's an app that I made. It could be like an e-commerce app or anything, but I am taking the example of this app that I have made. It's a fully functional app like with watch later, history, like then you can play a video, add it to a playlist or like make a playlist and you can see related videos and all. Yeah, like
Hi
everything
guys,
here
today
is here in this app. But don't get overwhelmed by seeing this. We are here just to implement what? Just to implement these three features. That's all. That's all we're gonna understand, no? So yeah, now here you can see when a user logs in, the home is a public route because anyone can access home. Okay, so let me take an example of an e-commerce app first. Okay, so that you'll understand better. So in an e-commerce app, what happens is when you log into Amazon or Flipkart or whatever, you can see all the products page. So this page is visible to you without even logging in. So this is a public route. When you click on a product, you can see all the details of the product. Again, you can access that page also, the product detail page, hence that is also a public route. But when you click on cart or what should I say, wish list, you have to log in to access those pages. Hence, those pages comes under private route or we can say protected route. Both are same. Okay, because what happens is the cart items are personalized to me. For me, I have different items in my wish list, and you might have different items in your cart and in your wish list. So these routes are private routes, but home and that product page, these routes are public routes. Okay. Now what we want is let's get back to our first point that I want you to understand. When user clicks on any of the private route, he or she should be directed to the login page. So that is what we want to implement. So let's see if we are able to implement it here. You see that we are not logged in inside this app because there is a login button that is visible. So instead of clicking on this login, if I directly want to go to watch later, I'll be directed to the which route? This is a private route, hence I'll be directed to the login page. Okay, as I told you. So now if I log in, then I can see everything like watch later, liked, I can go anywhere after that. There is no issue. But let's again log out and let's again go to the home page. Okay, now now the liked page, this is also a private route because liked videos are personalized to as per the user. I may have like gave thumbs up to different videos, you may have given thumbs up to different videos. So both of our liked videos will not be the same. Hence, this is also a private route. Therefore, when I click on it, I will be directed to the login page again. And again, if I not login, you can see if I click on any of the cards, the video will play. What that means? That means that this particular route that you can see in the URL, this is a public route because anyone can access without even logging in. Okay. So yeah, I think the difference between public and private is clear, and the first point is also clear. What we want when the user clicks on any of the private route. Let me reiterate, when the user clicks on any of the private route, he or she should be directed to the login page. That's it. That's our first goal. Okay, now let's move on and see what our second goal is. Because what I'm thinking is, no, you should understand what we are trying to do through this video. Only then, only then if we proceed, you will be very, very clear what I'm doing. No, so yeah, our second goal is this is our second goal. When user logins by entering the correct credentials, he or she should be redirected to the page where he actually wanted to go and not on the home page or any other page. Okay, this is a tricky point, but let me explain it to you. So let's say I wanted to visit watch later. Okay, but you already know that since I have not logged in, I'll be directed to the login page. Okay, that's not a problem. But now if I log in by correct credentials, so like let me tell you something. If I click on login as guest, no, it will automatically take correct credentials because I don't remember correct credentials, no. So yeah, so that's why I have this button here, login as guest. In real apps you don't find this button, but it is just for the illustration purposes. So yeah, so if I click on login as guest, correct credentials will be automatically filled in the email and password fields, and I'll be logged in. But that's not the point that I want to make. I want you to understand something else. When I click on login as guest, you can see I am on not on the home page. You can see the URL. I am on the watch later page. I am on the watch later page. See, I am on the watch later page. So what I want you to understand is, let's say I am again logged out. What I want you to understand is, if a person, like, listen to me very carefully, if a person is not logged in and without logging in he goes to watch later page, which is a private route, then afterwards if he logs in, he should be directed to the watch later page only, where he actually wanted to go. Okay, so this is like a good practice to do. Although you can have something like that, it's very easy. Like when a person log in, every single time, direct him to the home page or landing page, or like whatever page, but here what we are doing is, understand this, like React router remembers where the person actually wanted to go and directs him to that page only. Let's say you can see I'm not logged in. If I go to the liked, and if I do login as guest, it will direct me to the liked page. You can see the liked is being highlighted. It will direct me to the liked page. So it will remember where I originally wanted to go before I was logged in, and it will direct me only to that page only. Okay, so but in most of the apps, like this behavior that I told you, in good apps you will find this behavior, but in few apps you will find that the behavior that doesn't matter. Whenever you will log in, you will only be directed to the home page or the product page, okay, or the like videos page. Okay, doesn't matter like when you log in, from where you log in, doesn't matter. But that's not a very good behavior. It is a very good behavior to remember where the user actually wanted to go and direct and just send him to that page only. Okay, and not on any other page. So I hope you understand this second point. Let me just reiterate. When user logs in by entering the correct credentials, he or she should be redirected to the page where he actually wanted to go, and not on the home page or any other page. So the React router should remember, okay, so the user initially wanted to go on this page when I directed him to the login page. So it's my responsibility to direct the user again to that page where he actually wanted to go. Okay, so it will remember, doesn't matter what page it is, the React router will remember. Whichever private route it is, React router will remember, and it will direct the user to that page only and not on any other random page, So that's the second behavior that we will try to implement today. And the third thing that we'll try to implement is this. What is this? Okay, let's just read it out first. Let me just read it out first. After successful login, if user clicks the back button, the login page should not come up. Hence, remove the login page from history. Okay, let me again, let us go to my app again. Okay, so here it is. So what I want you to understand is, you can also see this behavior implemented in this app. So let's say I clicked on watch later. Okay, and since I am not logged in, I have to log in. Okay, so let me just log in as guest, or you can enter correct credentials if you remember correct credentials. That's not the point I am trying to get across. But yeah, let's just log in as guest. Now you can see I'm logged in. But just So I have two rabbits roaming here, and they are doing like they are playing around here. So yeah, that's why. So okay, so where were we? Okay, what I was saying. Okay, now if you see, if I press the back button, you see the login page is, we are not directed to the login page. So login page is removed from the history. So it's a very good behavior to have, no? Because if a person is being logged in, if a person is if a user is already being logged in, then remove the login page from the history. Okay, because even after logging in, a person might click the back button, then the login page will appear again, but there is no need of that login page now, as the person is already logged in. You'll find this behavior on Amazon and Flipkart and all the famous sites, so yeah, understood. So let me just reiterate what we want to implement. Let's say I'm not logged in, but let's say I clicked on like, or like I click on login itself, no problem. Now if I log in, I'm logged in now, but if I click the back button, you can see the login page is cannot be seen. Why? Because it is removed from the history, and it's a very good behavior to have, because once a person is logged in, what is the use of the login page? There is no use of the login page, no. So if by mistake person clicks on the back button, he'll see the login page again, and he might be confused. Yeah, I have just logged in, why this login page is here, no? So it's a good behavior or a good practice to remove the login page from history after the user has already logged in. Okay, so I hope you understand the third point that we want to implement. So yeah, here they are. Now let's code. And so I have made a very simple app for you guys to understand this, all of this. So let me just open that app. So yeah, here you can see this React app. uh just a sec. And actually I want to open these side by side so that you can see what is actually happening on the in our app, no, along with the code. So yeah, so I made this app using simple create react app. It's a very simple app. So I'll so let me just quickly go through it. So this app is resides inside my app. Inside my app you can see source, and here is our app.js. Okay, so this is app.js. This is like typical app.js. First we have navbar, which will be, so yeah, let me just start the charging for laptop. Okay, okay, so I hope you can see me. Yes, you can. Okay, so yeah, this is a typical app which I made using create react app, and here you can see navbar, which I wanted to have in every app. So I let me just show you. All the components are here in the components folder. All the components are in the components folder. And I also, since there were not a lot of pages and components, I put all the pages also in the components folder for the sake of simplicity, because the end goal of this video is for you to understand those 3 points that are here in the readme. That's it. So that is why I made it as simple as possible, so that you guys won't be confused in the things that are of no use, and just focus on the things that I want you to understand, no. So yeah, so where was I? Okay, so I want you to see the navbar. So this is the navbar component, and here you can see this three links, actually three links and a button: home, watch later, and like, and this is a login button here. Okay, so I have not given anything here. Okay, so we'll do it. Okay, no problem. So what I was saying, three links and one button, that's it. Okay, so home is directing us to this, and this is directing us to this, and like is directing us to this. Okay, now let me show you the app.js. Here app.js, so you understand this navbar component, and we have here the 4 routes. The first route is the home route, which is like this, which is this page, which is this page actually, which is currently open. Welcome to home. The second route is the watch later page, and you can see when I click on this the watch later page will open. Watch later page contains nothing but this line. this single line it will contain. That's it. That's all it will contain. No, and you can see when I click on liked, the liked component will be rendered. No, so here when I click on like, it will go to the this liked URL. So see, if I click on like, it will go to the liked URL, and it just say you can find liked videos here. In watch later, it will see you can find watch later videos, watch later videos here. So that is all which is present in the watch later and liked pages. If you want me to show you, I'll just show you. See, in watch later there is single line, and similarly in like there is also the same line. That's it. Okay. So yeah, that's all. Now let me show you. Okay, so let me show you the login page also. So since I didn't make this button working, let's make it work. So let's just say, okay, I could, instead of button, I could also give it a link, but I am not doing that. Why is it so? Okay, let us do it later. Let's go to the login page from here only, from the URL only. So let's go to the login page. So this is a very simple login page I made, where this is username and password, and then you can log in if you put the correct credentials here. So in actual login, what happens is, like in actual app, there is some, most probably there will be some API call, and if credentials are correct, you will get some token, and based on that token you will get user information that for this particular user, what is stored in watch later, what is stored in light, and so on and so forth. But for here I made a very simple login page. Let me just show you. You will be able to log in if username is Rajat and password is 123. That's it. That's how simple I made it. So I hard coded this thing. No, so if, okay, so let me make you understand what I did here. So I hope you understand use state, and yeah, if you don't, you can go and watch my video on use state. And one more thing, if you don't understand how authentication actually works, I have this whole playlist depicting only authentication. No, not authentication, sorry, React router. So you can go ahead and watch it. Although it's my playlist, so I'll obviously say it's very good, but I feel as compared to other videos, it's actually good. So yeah, you can go ahead and watch that. And I am like pretty sure you'll understand everything there is to understand about React router. Okay, so where were we? Okay, so yeah, this is a basic login page that I made. Here you can see we have a form, and this is a first div. First div contains the label username and this input, which where we enter the username. And similarly, this is the second div, which what it will contain. It will contain the label password and this input for the password. And this is the login button. Okay, so yeah, and what is happening here is I took a state variable. So let me do this. Okay, so yeah, I have a state variable detail set detail, which I set to this object, no, where username is empty string and the password is also an empty string. And yeah, on changing things, I'm setting here the correct username and correct password in the state variable. Why I took the state variable? So that I'll be able to compare it here. So here, what the, like, as the user types username and as the user types password, the username and password will get stored in this detail, which is an object. Corresponding to the username key, you will find the username. Corresponding to the password key, you will find the actual password. It is being typed by the user. And what we'll do here, when the user clicks on this button, since we took form, I did on submit here instead of on click on the button. The like this, when the user clicks on the button, this login handler function will run, and what this login handler will do, it will just see if username is equals to Rajat, or and detail and password is equals to 123. If it is so, then do something. That's it. Okay, and why this e.prevent default? Although I think you already knew, but let me just tell you very quickly. And I think that is my problem. I want to tell you everything, and in that process, the video becomes very long. But okay. So yeah, e.prevent default is there because we want a page to, because we want to prevent our page from refreshing. That's it. That's the only role of e.prevent default. And now let's make this app working and understand what those 3 points were. Okay, so here log if I log in, what I want is, let's make it as simple as possible. No, let's say, let's import the use navigate from React Router them. Okay, so I already imported use navigate and use location, as you can see here, and I have to do const uh, const navigate is equals to use navigate, and here if username is equals to Rajat and password is equals to 123, then simply navigate the user to the home page. That's it. Okay, so let's see if this thing is working. If I put the username Rajat and password 123, and if I log in, okay, so I'll be directed to the home page. As you can see, welcome to home. Okay, so this is working now. But now this our login logout button is not working, so let us make it work also. So it is in the nav bar. Okay, so before making it work, let me tell you one thing. I also made use of the context in this app. If you don't know what context, how use what use context is or how it works, I first want you to understand that. And till now, I have not made a video on use context, but I'm planning on making a video on use context within a week. So where you'll understand very clearly what it is. So yeah, but yeah, that is the case. You have to know what use context is. It's very easy and you'll understand it, but yeah, you have to understand it before seeing this, before continuing on with this video, no? So, but still, if you want to understand, no, I'll just tell you what it is doing here. So just stick to this video. So this is a very simple use context, and there is no reducer. I simply use this state here. You can see use state here, and yeah, and although if those of you who know how use context works, by seeing this code you will understand what is happening, because this is a very small code. Here what I am doing is, I'll tell you the main things. I have this state where I have this state variable is logged in, and this state function set is logged in. What it represents is, if a user is logged in, have the is logged in as true, and if a user is not logged in, have this is logged in as false. Okay, so this is my thing. This was my thinking to make it, and I did not use the props because I was using this is logged in at various places. So I thought that, like, that is leading to prop drilling, and also I thought that let's just make a context, and yeah, we'll be done. It's easy, no? So here I am just passing on is logged in and set is logged in as values, so that we could have access to is logged in and know whether the user is logged in or not. Because if is logged in is false, that means user is not logged in, and if is logged in is true, that means user is logged in, and its initial value is, as you can see here is false. So okay, and those of you who don't understand how use context works, understand this. I just want is logged in and set is logged in to be accessible all over the app. Okay, so that I could know whether a user is logged in or not. Okay, not me, but React could know whether or our code could know that whether our user is logged in or not. So yeah, and now let's have the functionality to log in and log out here on this button also. So for that, I have to use the is logged in. That is why I made you understand this context that I made. So yeah, so let me just import use auth from auth context, because you can see this is the use auth. No, this is the actual we want to use this thing. No, so yeah, okay. So now what we'll do, we'll say const what I want here is, I want is logged in, and do I want set is logged in? Okay, so let's have both is logged in and set is logged in is equals to use auth. So this is how we'll get access to is logged in and set is logged in throughout our app. I am telling this to those guys who don't understand how context works, no? So by doing this, we'll get access to is logged in throughout our app, no? By doing this, we can destruct, like this is simple destructuring. Okay. So what I was thinking is, I say if is logged in is true, if is logged in is true, that means this is the conditional operator that I'm using here. If is logged in is true, that means user is already logged in. Hence show logout here, show logout here in the button. And let me remove this. And if is logged in is false, that means user is not logged in. Then show the login here in the nav bar. Okay. And I have to do something more. And what if the user clicks on logout? What if user clicks on logout? If in case user clicks on logout, I want him to get logged out. Obviously, no. When someone clicks on logout, we want him to log out. That's it. That's all we want. And what we have to do in order to log out, we have to make is logged in false, because that is what I told you. Is logged in is false when the user is logged out, and is logged in is true when the user is logged in. You can it is also clear, kind of clear with the name, no? Is logged in, is user logged in? True means yes, it is logged in, no? So yeah, it's also clear by that. So how to manipulate is logged in? By using the state function set is logged in. And if the user clicks on log out, if the user clicks on log out, what we want him to be logged out. So in that scenario, we'll set this to false, not this, not flash, but false. Okay. And if a user is already been logged out and he clicks on the login button, this is the login button in which currently I am writing on click. This is the login button. If the user clicks on login, then what I want him to get logged in. And in order to log in, what we have to do is we have to set is logged in to true. That means user is already being logged in. So let's set this to true. Okay, so I think that's all we have to do. Let's see if it's working. Okay, so one more thing I want to do. If user wants to log in, the first thing we want is we want to set is logged in to true, and the sec no, we don't want to set is logged in to true, because we don't know if the user is the right user or not. No, like in place of me in my Amazon account, like anyone could log in. If this is the scenario that you only have to click on the login button and then you could log in, then in that case anyone could log in. So I don't want that to happen. I want user to know the correct credentials, only then allow him to log in. So we don't want this. We'll navigate the user. So here I actually already imported use navigate here. I just forgot to integrate this functionality, although I imported use navigate here. And yeah, I have navigate here. If you don't know what navigate is, how it works, watch my video. Again, watch my video, it's good. So yeah, so what I want is I want the user to simply navigate to login. That's it. That's all I want. That's it. Okay. Understand this. If user is already logged in, then logout button will be shown. If user is already logged in, then logout button will be shown, and when the user clicks on the logout button, the user will be logged out. Okay, and hence we are setting set is logged into false. And when user is already logged out, and you can see the login button here, now when user clicks on the login button, it should be directed to the login page. Let's see if it's working. So yeah, it's working. And when I enter the correct credentials here, if you remember correctly, we are navigating to the home page. We are navigating. So yeah, it's working now. Okay. So now is that, so we are navigating to the home page, but I have not made this watch later and like the protected route or private route. From here, we are doing what we are here to do. We'll implement this first point. When user clicks on any of the private route, he or she should be directed to the login page. Okay, understand? When user clicks on any of the private route, he or she should be directed to the login page. So what I'm thinking is when user clicks on watch later, he should be directed to the login page. Okay, so let's do it. Now understand a thing, a very simple thing. In order to implement these features, no, in order to implement these three features, we have to make only a single JS file. Okay, so that's it. Like a single component we have to make. That's it. So let me make that component. So I'm making that component here only. You can name it anything, but I am naming it requires auth.js. And I'll wrap all the private routes inside of this component. If you don't understand what I just said, I don't expect you to understand this quickly. Just see my code and you'll understand. So let me just close this and this and this. Okay. Now what we'll do in requires auth, what we will do in requires auth. Okay. First we want is logged in here to know whether the user is logged in or not, and for that we want use auth from. Okay, so I have made requires auth here. So let's make requires auth in the source folder. No, move it in. So I've just moved it into the source, and yeah. So let's import from just give me a minute. Okay, so we have to import use auth from auth context. So this is what we need here, and okay, so let's try to make it, and then whatever we'll need we'll see midway. Okay, so I'll just export function. What it is requires auth. So this is the only component you have to make in order to implement all those three functionalities that we talked about in readme.md. Okay, so in requires auth, it will have this prop children and have is logged in first here. So let's have is logged in from the context use auth and see. Yes, we had is logged in. Okay, so we have to do const. So we have is logged in here. Now what I want to return is, I'll say return based on is logged in. So I'll use conditional operator here. If is logged in is true, return children. And what is children? Don't worry, you'll understand very soon. And if is like this requires auth. No, this is the only critical part that you have to understand in order to implement these functionalities. So if is logged in is true, then return children, and if is logged in false, then navigate. No, so we'll import this navigate, and I'll tell you what it does. From where? From React Router DOM. Okay, so I'll say navigate component to the where to log in. That's it. That's all we have to do. So what we did here is, if is logged in is true, then render the children, and if is logged in is false, then navigate to the login page. And let me just you'll understand this. No, just stay with me for 2 more minutes. So here, so what I told you just 2 or 3 minutes before, that whatever the route we want to make private or protected, or whatever the just give me a minute. I told you that I have rabbit, so I think something's wrong. Okay, so there's nothing wrong, but I thought there is a cat outside, so that's why I went out to check on them. So yeah, it's still recording. So yeah, what I told you, if there is a private route, we want to wrap it inside requires auth. Okay, so whichever route or whichever element we want to make private, simply wrap that element inside the private route. Let me reiterate. What you have to do is, you have to do one thing. whichever element you want to make private, just wrap it inside the private route here. So in order to wrap, first let me import the private route, not private route, sorry, requires auth. So whichever element you want to make private, just wrap it inside requires auth, not private route. So again, let me reiterate, whichever element you want to make private or protected, just wrap it inside requires auth. For that to happen, first import requires auth from requires auth. Okay. So this, so I have exported here. No, okay. So I exported here. This is in. So now I want to make the watch later private route. So what I have to do, I have to simply wrap it inside requires auth. Requires auth. See what I did here inside of element. Previously we only had watch later. Now I wrapped it inside requires auth. That's it. That's the only thing I did. Now let's see what happens to watch later. Now you can see I'm currently not logged in. I'm currently not logged in because you can see login here. If I was logged in, you'll see the logout here. So let me just show you this thing. So we just implemented this feature. No, if I am logged in, you're still seeing login here. So let me just check this out. Wow, what's the issue? Where in the components this is our navbar, because what I am thinking of, no, since I'm logged in, it should be converted to logout. Okay, so I understand what's the issue. So here in our, the issue is with our login.js page. So yeah, so what we are doing is, if username and password are correct, just navigate us to the home page. But we have to do one more thing. Here we also need to set the is logged in to true, because since now we are logged in, is logged in should be set it to true. And the minute we set is logged in to true, what will happen? Since is logged in is true, we'll see logged out button there in the nav bar. So yeah, let's do it very quickly. Import use auth from auth context. So we have use auth from auth context, and now what we'll do is, we'll say simply again, we'll restructure it. We'll have, we just want set is logged in. We don't need the variable, the state variable. We just want state function here. Use auth. So what you should do is, okay, so if if the username is Rajat and password is 123, first set is logged into true, because now the credentials are correct, and then navigate. Okay, now you can see, now it will work. Now if I enter the username Rajat and password 123 and I log in, I'll be logged in, and yeah, and if I click on log out, I'll be logged out. Okay, now if I click on login, I'll be logged in. Again, the same thing. So yeah, now the shit is working fine. Okay, so where was I? Okay, so in order to make a component private, we have to wrap it inside requires auth. Now see if it's working. How to show you if it's working? See, we are not currently logged in. Here the login button is there. That means we are not currently logged in. If there is logout, that means we were logged out. We are already logged in, but currently we are not. So since we have wrapped our watch letter into requires auth, and what our first point said is, when I click on any of the private route, I should be directed to the login page. So, and what I just told you, that by wrapping the component inside the requires auth, we are making it the private route or protected route. So now what should happen is, when I click on the watch later, I should be directed to the login page. So let's see. See, it's working. home, we can access home, we can access liked, because currently liked is not a private route. If we want to make it private route, we have to just wrap it inside the required sort, the same thing that we did for watch later. So yeah, we can access home, we can access liked, but since we are not logged in, if we are trying to access watch later, we'll be directed to the login page. And if I am logged in, now you can see, now I'll be able to access the home, liked, and most importantly watch later. So what is actually happening here is, when we wrap the watch later component inside requires, or this watch later becomes children. So, and here we say this watch letter is children, and what is happening here in the statement, see the line number 6, when the is logged in is true, then render the children. And when is logged in will be true? When the user is logged in. So when the user is logged in, render children. As simple as that. And if the user is not logged in, then navigate to this page. That's it. What will happen? Let me just again tell you, because this is important. No, when user clicks on this watch later link, this is the whole process. When the user clicks on the watch later, in the nav bar, it will come here and see, okay, so corresponding to the path watch later will have this element, okay, and but this element is, it's wrapped inside requires auth. So what will happen, this element will try to render, because corresponding to this path we have this element, so this element will try to render, but in order to render this element, this watch later will be passed to the requires auth, and when the watch later is passed to the require auth, it will behave as children. And what will happen, this requires auth will check. What this requires auth will do, this requires auth will check if is logged in is true, then simply render the children. And what was children? Children is watch later. And if it's not, then navigate to the login. That's it. Okay. So let me reiterate, if is logged in is true, then render the children. If you are not logged in, then navigate to login page. That's it. So hence it's working. Now if we want to make our liked page also what? Also a private route, we can simply wrap it also in require. So that's it. I think that you could do. So let's move ahead to the second point. What is the second point? When user logins by entering the correct credentials, he should be redirected to the page where he actually wanted to go, and not on the home page or any other page. So at the very starting, I just told you what it means. Let me just tell you again what it means. If the user wanted to go to watch later after login, he should be directed to the watch later. If before login user wanted to go on the like page, after login, after successful login, he should be directed to the like page only, and not on any other random page. Like in general, what happens in few apps, the user is directed to the home page, but that's not a very good practice. So yeah, so I think you understand what I am trying to do. So let's do this. Let's do the second point. So this is a little tricky, not much, a little tricky. For this to happen, understand one thing. For this to happen, understand one thing. That let's say I am logged out. I am logged out. I am able to access home. I am able to access like, but I click on watch later. I will be directed to the login page. But now on the login page, on this login page, the React router should remember that I was coming from watch later, so that it could direct me to the watch later page. And if I am coming from any other private route, the React router should remember that, okay, so this guy wanted to go to this private route. So let's remember that. So after login, I'll direct this guy to that private route only, and not any other route. Understood? So React router needs to remember where I am coming from. Let me reiterate, React router needs to remember where I am coming from, or where I actually wanted to go. React router should know that. So in order for React router to know, we need to use location. Use location, and what it will do, let me just tell you what this location is. So yeah, we are getting use location here, and Okay, so let me just console this use location so that you guys could get a, like understand what this contains, and things will be little bit more clear. See, I am currently not logged in because you can see login button here, not log out. I am currently not logged in. Let me just make you see the console. So let's make it big. Okay, so you can see console here. Now if I am currently not logged in, okay, so I could access home or like, but if I try to access watch later, I will be directed to the login page because this is a private route. Okay, so I am directed to the watch later page, but that's not the point that you already understood. The point that I want you to understand is here. What I did is I console log use location. So see what we are getting in the console. We are getting this path name. This is very important. So when I come on the login page using using use location, I know, or rather I should say the React router stores this path name, so it knows, okay, so where I was coming from, it knows, React router knows where I was coming from, because this is stored in path name. So what we have to do, we only have to do one thing. When the user clicks on login, instead of navigating it, instead of hard coding this thing, no, when the user clicks on, where is the login, okay, so when the user clicks on login, the login handler function will get executed, but instead of navigating it to here, just navigate it to the path name. Instead of hard coding this thing, no, give it path name, that's it, because path name remembers where the user actually wanted to go. So just navigate the user to that page only, no. So let's say if I make the liked button, so how I am getting this? If I make this liked button the private route, I will get the / liked here, no. So let me just show you again. See, I am currently not logged in. Hence if I click on watch later, it is a private route, I will be directed to the login page, and here in the login page it remembers that I clicked on watch later, so I want this / watch later path name to be there. Okay, so what I will do is, when the user will log in with correct credentials, I will direct the user to the watch later page. That's like, forget everything, remember this thing. So what I will do is, when the user enters the correct credentials and click on login, I will direct it to this path name, whatever it is, because this path name is the path name where the user actually wanted to go. Okay, so let's do that. Now the question is how to do that, but we'll do that. Okay, okay, so yeah, so for that what we have to do is, we'll say, and there is like one more thing that you guys might have missed. Just let me show that thing to you quickly. I click on watch later, you can see this path name here, you can see state here, no, we'll use this state, we'll store this path name, in the state, and then we'll access this state. Let me just show you, because when I show you, you will understand what I was doing, what I am doing, not I was doing. So what I'll say, state is equals to this object, and what this object contains, let's give it, and we could name, like, make any object we want. We could say path, and path will be equal to location dot path name, and what location dot path name contains, I just showed you the page where the user actually wanted to. In this case, the / watch later path is there in location dot path name, so that we have to utilize, because it is kind of remembering where the user actually wanted to go, and will dynamically send user to that page only, rather than hard coding this thing / will dynamically send the user by seeing where the user actually wanted to go. Okay, I think you understand this. So this is all we have to do. You just have to write path, and location dot path name I just showed you in console contains the path where the user actually wanted to go, and yeah, so we just stored in this is an object which we stored in this state. Now what we'll do is, on the login page, see, I have already imported the use location hook, so that you have to do from React Router DOM. And one more thing, I have to destructure it and need to access location. So location is equals to use location. Okay, location is equals to use location. Now what I want is, when the details are correct, do one thing. We don't want this to be hard coded, we want the user to. Now let me just show you one more thing. Let me just console log location here. When I enter the correct detail, let me just console log location here. You knew that we were setting the, you knew in required auth, no, we are setting the state using this thing, using this object, no, and state is present in the use location hook. So use location is kind of a context in itself, like use auth. So we can use the same use location in various places, in various components and all. So when we set it here, when we set the state inside the use location, and when we use this is the same use location, this is the same use location, and when I console it, you will see the state instead of null that I showed you previously, will have something now. So if I have the correct details, and I click on login, you will see this location. So let me just do this, because I have to console and it's very messy on smaller screen. So this is Rajat and password is 123, only then I will be able to log in. If I log in, so state is currently null because we directly tried to log in, we are not coming from watch later page. So let me first log out, and yeah, and if I come from, like, I am currently logged out, if I go to watch later, I will be directed to this page. So don't so yeah, I will be directed to this page, this login page. This we understood how it is done. Now if I click on login, you see this is the login.js 15, this is the line, no. Now if I click on login, this is the line that is being consoled, and if I open this, you can see in the state we have path watch later. So we are having access to the path here, and here you can see this is from the required auth page. You can see here state is null, and in this page what we did is, like, understand this very carefully. Yeah, in this required auth page what we did is, we set the state to part dot, we set it the state to this object where key is path and value is location dot path name. So hence we set this state to this object where key is just a minute, where key is path and location is location dot path name. And what is location dot path name? / watch later. So this you can see here, okay. Now we'll use this. So this will be dynamic depending on which private route the user clicked on. So I'll show you this thing for the liked page also, but okay, but let us do this first. Let me just, so what we'll do here is, we'll simply say instead of doing this navigate to, we have to do location dot state dot path, no, location dot state dot. So I'll make just const, or we can name it something, anything you want, go to, this is the page you want to go to. So I'll make it like this. What was the location? How could we access this path name? Location dot state dot path, location dot state dot path. Okay, now we'll simply navigate to this thing, we'll simply navigate to go to. Okay, now I think it should work, and I'll also tell you about one corner case here. Now let me just do this and this. Okay, now if let's say I'm logged out, so I can go to this, and if I click on watch later, this is a private route, so I'll be directed to the login page. And if I put in correct credentials, instead of initially I have this navigate /, so I was directed to the home page. But now since this is dynamic, I should be directed to the watch later page, because this is where I actually clicked, this is where I actually wanted to go, and in that process I was directed to the login page. But now if I successfully logged in, I should be directed to this page only and not on any other random page. So let's see. So yeah, that's good. You can see nothing here. Let's see what is the error. Okay, so we are okay. So yeah, I understood what's the thing. So we are coming here, location.state.path. There is nothing here, no. So actually I have to make this dynamic. So this is, yeah, this is not a string, no, this is actual something exists on this location. So now it should work. Now let me log out, and yeah, if I log out, I could visit home, I could visit like, but if I click on watch later, I should be directed to this page. But now, where was it? Okay, now if I click on this, if I enter the correct credentials, instead of any other random page, I should be directed to the watch later page, because this is where I originally intended to go. See, you can find watch later videos here. That means this is a watch later page. So I am directed to the watch later page. So I think you understand this. So I could implement the same thing for like page if I simply wrap it inside required. So that's all I have to do. Okay, so the second thing is done. What was the second thing? When user logins by entering the correct credentials, he should be redirected to the page where he actually wanted to go, and not on the home page or any other page. So this is done. And what I was thinking is, so yeah, so in order to do this thing, what we did two things. In order to achieve the point number 2, we did two things. Thing number 1, we had this, we use this use location here. How we use this use location here? First we destructured it, then we gave the state this, because initially state was null, so we provided the state with the path name. What this path name contains? This path name contains the path where the user is actually wanted to go. So this is what we want. So this we can have dynamically, because React Router remembers where the user wanted to go. I'll show you. We can do it this. If I made the like page the private route, no, the React Router will remember that user will, and if I clicked on like, the React Router will remember that the user actually wanted to go to like. So in that scenario, location.pathname will store /like. Okay, so yeah, so what I mean to say is the state will store this object. Okay, and since it was null, now we are storing this object in this store. This is the first thing that we have to do in order to achieve point number 2. And the second thing we have to do is, in the login page, instead of hard coding this thing, we'll have this go to, or any name we want, we can have here. We are accessing that path name where the user actually wanted to go using location.state.path, and I showed you how we are getting it in the console. Okay, so these are the two things we have to do in order to achieve point number 2. Thing number 1, we have to include this state. Understand this thing only. We have to include this state into the navigate component, and the second thing, we have to have this thing into the login page, so that the login could be dynamic. Now there is one corner case. I told you that I will tell you what the corner case is. So let me tell you. So electricity is gone, but no worries. So what the corner case was? Okay, so let's say user, instead of clicking on watch later, user clicks on this. Now we are not logged in, but instead of clicking on watch later and going to the login page, user clicks on the login button itself. So in that scenario, what will happen? There is no path name that will be there. Why there is no path name? Because user is not clicking on any of the protected route. No, so you can see here, you can see this thing here only. So in the console, I will show you. Now I'm not logged in, you can see, but now instead of watch later, if I wanted to log in from this button, so you can see I am not getting anything in the console. So yeah, there is no path name. So how could like, so what will happen is, if I click on watch later, you can see this thing comes up, but instead of watch later, if I click on login button, there is nothing being printed in the console. So if nothing is being printed on the console, how could we access location.pathname? And if we cannot access location.pathname, how can this be accessed? So this will be like, this won't be accessed, no? So this will be like undefined or something like that. So to tackle that scenario, what we'll do is, if this goto is undefined, and in which scenario goto could be undefined, when the user clicks on the login button itself and not on any of the protected route. If goto is undefined, I'll use the nullish co-lynching operator here. Just make this goto equals to slash. So now if this is undefined, that means the user directly wants to log in, then after successfully logging in the user, direct him or her to the home page. That's all. If you don't know nullish co-lynching operator, read the MDN docs. It's a very useful one. So I'll quickly tell you what it is. If the right thing is not undefined, the right thing will be valid, whatever the value is on the right hand side of nullish co-lynching operator. And if the value on the right is undefined or something like that, the value on the no, I told you, like, what I told you is not correct. If left thing is valid, then goto will be equal to the left thing. But if this left thing is undefined or something like that, the right thing will be valid. So if we don't have location.state.path, that means it will be undefined, and in that scenario goto will be equal to this slash. So if this doesn't exist, just navigate to the slash. That's it. So this was the corner case I was talking about. I think you understand this. Now let's move ahead. It took more time than this video took more time than I actually expected, but no worries. The point is, you guys should understand what I'm trying to teach. Otherwise, if I even made it of 5 minutes, it's of like no use. So yeah, now we want to do third thing. This is very easy. The second thing only was a little bit tricky, but third thing is like very easy. After successful login, if user clicks on the back button, the login page should not come up. Hence, remove the login page from history. As I told you before, there is no use of login page if the user has already been logged in. And if by mistake he clicks on the back button, he will be confused at why I am seeing this login page when I am already logged in. So this is a behavior implemented by all the major e-commerce sites. No? So you can do, let me tell you what is happening right now. Let's say I wanted to go to watch later, and I am directed to the login page. If I log in successfully, you can say I am directed to the watch later page again. So the second point is being done. Now if I click on the back button by mistake, again this login page comes up. So this should not happen. This login page should be removed from the history, and whatever is there before the login page, I should be directed to that thing only, and this login page should no more be there, should no more be present in our history. So let's do that. So it's like, this thing is very easy. In order to do this, you have to do, what you have to do is just write replace here. So it will be replaced from history. Like, this is the step number 1, and step number 2 you have to do in the okay. So in the navigate, what you have to do is just have this object replace, and its value will be true. That's all you have to do. So this third thing will be like very easy. The second thing is like kind of tricky, but this third point is very easy. After successful login, if user clicks on the back button, the login page should not come up. So hence we want to remove the login page from history. So for that to happen, we did two things. First, in requires auth, I wrote replace. In this navigate component, I use replace. And the second thing I did is in login.js, in this navigate, as kind of like second argument or parameter, I have this object replace true. with key replace and value true. That's it. That's the like two things I needed to do. And and one more thing, I'll provide this code in the description so that you guys could go through it. No, so no worries. So let us test this out if it's working. So I'm currently not okay. I'm currently logged in. So let me just log out. So I'm currently not logged in. If I go to watch later, I am directed to the login page, and before watch later I was on the home page, if you remembered. Now if I click on login, obviously I will be directed to the watch later page, but now the main, what should I say, main thing comes up. No, if I click the back button, the login page should not come up. You can see the login page is no more there, no more in the history. I am directed directly to the home page. So yeah, that's all, that's it. I think the third point is also covered. So I hope you like this video, and I provide the code in the, not the code but the link to the GitHub in the description. And if you gain anything from this video, I really appreciate if you could subscribe to my channel. And since this is a very new channel, my videos doesn't show up in the YouTube search. So if you don't understand anything, you can comment and ask me, or you could also considering giving it a thumbs up, so it will bump up my videos in the YouTube search. According to the YouTube algorithm, it will give me some leverage. So yeah, that's